So a CEO at AMC basically said that The Walking Dead is in its early stages of life. Based on the fact that it's on season 10 already, that could be a problem. Now, you've got to remember that when The Walking Dead came out back in 2010, it was an adaptation to the comic book by Robert Kirkman, which came out about 10 years before that. Now, AMC has taken liberties in The Walking Dead show, changing out character deaths, changing out characters themselves, making them act a bit different, but overall, I would say like 80% of the show is pretty accurate to the comics, how you would adapt a comic book to the big screen. Now the problem is the Robert Kirkman comic book just ended just a few months ago. A surprise ending that caught everyone off guard. In fact, I think it might have caught AMC off guard as well. Robert Kirkman is still heavily involved in other television shows regarding The Walking Dead, such as the third show where you got Scott Gimple working on that as showrunner. Even The Walking Dead main show he might be having a hand in as producer. But the rich source of material from a comic book is now over, and I would say because they're on the Whisperer arc on season 10, season 11 is going to have to focus on the Commonwealth, and the Commonwealth is the last major arc before Rick died and the Walking Dead comic book ended. So at best they can go up to season 12 if they stretch out the material, because there's a lot to the Commonwealth. But I don't think that's a good idea. The Walking Dead is a simple show about a zombie apocalypse. How do you survive that? And while I am excited for more Walking Dead TV shows, like, well, Fear, is not great, it's different, and it certainly has its fans, and now we have a third Walking Dead show. But what seems to be happening is you're pressing copy and paste, basically, of The Walking Dead. You can't really tell a zombie apocalypse story over and over again. Like, this isn't Marvel. Marvel has a lot of different stories they can tell. Sure, you can say they're all the same, but there's major differences. Marvel isn't as simple as zombies happen, and then you learn to survive, and you've got to fight the humans. That's basically the story of every Walking Dead show, including this third one, I guarantee it. It's supposed to be tonally different and very unique, taking place in a different part of the world and telling a very different story. But I don't think it's going to be a very different story. I think it's going to be very similar. It might be different in the beginning. Everything's different in the beginning, just like Fear was, but it's going to devolve into the same show, just like I mentioned in my last video. So when an AMC CEO says The Walking Dead is still going to be going on for another X amount of time, I'm going to imagine they're going to drain this series, this franchise dry. They won't stop until it stops making money. And a lot of people are going to be cheering that on because you get more Walking Dead. But television shows don't stay the same when they go on forever. They change, they get worse usually. Think about all the cartoons you watched as a kid that are now still going on and very unrecognizable. I'd rather The Walking Dead die on a high note than die on an obscure one, to the point of no one giving a damn about the show and it getting like 1 million views on average per episode. Like, if you want the actual quote from the CEO, she said, "I'm not saying the show will go on for 20 seasons, but I'm not saying it won't." End quote. And that's worrisome because people lost interest in The Walking Dead after like 4 seasons, and then it gained a new audience, more members, but they like different things about the show. And then you lost some fans after the Negan cliffhanger in like season 7 or 6. I think season 7. So clearly it's supposed to be a positive thing, but I'm taking it as very negative. I don't think the show has enough fuel to run for 20 seasons. Especially if you consider that Fear the Walking Dead is AMC's attempt at writing its own original stories, not based on the comic book. And it's not as well received as the Mothership show that's based on the comic book. And that's really just the major problem with AMC. Like, if you look at it from outside the box, you can see that you got 3 shows of The Walking Dead, and you got movies coming out on Rick Grimes. And the thing is, you got less material to fill all of this stuff with. And since there's a lot of filler episodes in the actual TV show Walking Dead, and you can see them, they're the plot lines that go nowhere and have no effect on the end conclusion to the villain arc of the season, like with fighting Negan or fighting the governor. But that's basically it. What do you think about The Walking Dead potentially going on for like 20 seasons? Would you rather it end on a high note? Personally, for me, I'd rather it end in like season 11, right after the Commonwealth, right where the comic book ended, because I think the characters deserve a happy ending at this point. They've been through a lot. But whatever you think, comment below, make sure you like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.